Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Oklahoma On Stage. We are continuing our summer series where we are interviewing a different person every week, sometimes an actor, sometimes a director, sometimes a techie, sometimes just a representative of the theater. But whoever it is, a different person every week, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. Hey, I'm Tim. I'm your host, and I'm going to guide you through this magical world of Oklahoma theater. We appreciate you joining us. If this is your first time, we hope that you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Our website is oklahomaonstage.org. There you can find all of our past episodes. We've got a newsletter. We also have a monthly calendar where you can see events going on all over the state. If you want to add something to that calendar, an event, a production, maybe an audition, all you have to do is just email us at oklahomaonstage@gmail.com. That's oklahomaonstage, all one word, @gmail.com. Also, you can send us any comments or questions to that email, or you can use the contact form, which is on the website. Hey, if you like what we're doing, and I really hope that you do, if you would, when you're checking out the podcast, if you would go to our landing page on wherever you listen to the podcast, and you would leave us a rating and a review, that would really help us get the word out about Oklahoma On Stage and get us shared with other people. Also, we ask that when you listen to this, man, share it with your family and friends. Let them know what we're doing. Let them know that we're spreading the word about Oklahoma theater and the mass amount of talent that we have here in this state. Hey, again, thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great time today. Sit back, grab a drink, and let's enjoy some Oklahoma theater.
Oklahoma On Stage, the stories come alive with drama, dance, and music. The arts always thrive. From center stage to backstage lore, Oklahoma On Stage, there's always something more.
Welcome back, everybody, to Oklahoma On Stage, where we shine the spotlight on all things theater in the great state of Oklahoma. Today, we're stepping inside the heart of Oklahoma's experimental theater movement with a guest who believes that every act of art is a step toward collective liberation. Our guest is a director, dramaturge, and co-artistic director of Co.Arts Theater Company, a bold, nonprofit incubator for original works and unconventional storytelling. From directing the ensemble-driven Men on the Line to collaborating with productions like The Great Leap and Much Ado About Nothing, Alleese brings a visionary voice to every production she touches. Co.Arts isn't just another theater company. It's a movement based in Norman and often found transforming spaces like Théâtre Theater and Oklahoma Contemporary. Co.Arts challenges norms and builds community through immersive, absurdist, and fiercely loyal performance. Today, we'll explore how Alleese and her collective are cultivating Oklahoma stages as spaces for radical joy, artistic risk, and meaningful dialogue. This conversation today will be equal parts inspiration, innovation, and invitation. So let's step behind the curtain and into the world of Co.Arts Theater and welcome Alleese Eldridge to the podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. That was so nice. Thank you so much.
Well, good. I'm glad I didn't miss anything, did I?
I don't think so.
So we'll find out. So, okay. As I told you before the show, we're going to talk a little bit about you first before we start diving into the theater. And first off, you're not originally from Oklahoma, are you?
No, I'm not.
So tell us the story. Where are you from?
Okay, if I answer the question, I sometimes say Texas. I sometimes want to say Oklahoma, but the answer doesn't feel 100% honest because I moved so much when I was a kid. I was born in Nevada. I lived in upstate New York for a couple of years, then Texas, then overseas in Doha, Qatar, and then back to the States in Nevada, and then back to Texas, and then I came to college at OU and have stayed in Oklahoma for, I guess, 3 or 4 years after I graduated. So this is the place I've been the longest.
So what brought you to Oklahoma?
OU. I really loved OU's program, and yeah, I wanted to be in it really bad. And a bunch of students from my high school were at OU and really loved it. And I auditioned and I was so excited. And then I got waitlisted and I was like devastated. And then, yeah, I ended up getting taken off the waitlist. And when that happened, I was like, oh, this is the thing that I couldn't have, and now I can have it, and I want it more than anything. So I came to OU, very happy that I did.
What was your major?
I entered as an acting major and then quickly realized that I was not getting enough English classes, so I added dramaturgy and got an English minor.
Very interesting. Congratulations. So, and I understand you graduated in 2022?
Yes, sir.
All right. See, I did my research. So, all right. So, what first drew you to the world of theater?
It's kind of funny. The very first show that I did was an absolutely, definitely not authorized ballet reinterpretation of the first Harry Potter movie, but not the book, which I played like a series of inanimate objects. I played an owl, a key, a letter, and one other. I know what it was for, but I can't remember. But yeah, something, ridiculous. And a wand, an owl, a letter, a key, and a wand. Yeah. And I loved it so much. I remember feeling like it was the best way to make friends. I genuinely cared about what we were doing. I loved Harry Potter at the time, obviously, so it was like, this is huge. We're gonna change the world, And I just had a blast. And then every time since then, I guess I had an opportunity to do theater. I found it fulfilling and beautiful. And I kind of knew when I was deciding what I was going to school for, I was like, this feels so stupid. Like, oh, it's so risky. And like, but then the alternative would have been regret. And I was like, I can't do that either. Like, I can't live with myself if I don't do this. And so then, full steam ahead.
Okay. So you said that was a makeshift ballet.
Yeah.
So does that mean you dance as well?
No, not wild. I was 6. So whenever I was 6, you can get away with that.
Oh, that just kind of hit a real nerve there. I did the first Harry Potter when I was 6. There are times when this show makes me feel really old.
Time is crazy.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know. So you've worn many hats. You've been an actor, a director, a dramaturge, a producer. What role first made you feel like this is where I belong?
I was such a nosy, busybody actor, if that makes sense. Like, I was like, what's going on? Like, what are we doing with this? And what's happening with this? And, like, wanted to know what's going on in the production team. Like, when I was in high school, I was, asking questions. And so that I knew, like, I sort of knew that wasn't the perfect fit, but I loved it. I also loved it so much. I wanted to do a good job so bad. So when I got to OU, like I said, I was like, oh, something's missing. And then I didn't know what dramaturgy was until I got to OU. And then that was the thing that clicked, that I was like, oh, this is like, puts together all of the social, thoughtful, academic sort of theater history, writing, everything that I love about theater. And then also no stage fright. I was like, but I didn't want to give up acting, so I still do that sometimes. But I feel really at home in dramaturgy. And then directing is also scary. Still scary still in a completely different way that acting is, but like magical. When you're like when you feel confident and and you have a vision, and like, it's amazing.
It's always good when it just clicks. Yeah, that's very, very cool. So how did all of these different hats help shape you as a theater person?
I think it was, my relationship with theater was less honest maybe when I was just an actor, or when I was only an actor, because there were so many things that I didn't know and didn't need to know to be able to do that job. And now that I do know them, I think I'm better at that job. And I think that if I had been an actor for longer, those things would have come. I would have learned those lessons. But bouncing around, kind of each piece starts to inform each other. And the big missing piece for me is design. I don't think that I understand design, and it's something that I haven't done and haven't learned about. So that's kind of a missing piece of the puzzle in terms of, I mean, I'm not an expert in any of these things, but it's the piece that I feel most insecure about, I guess. But yeah, they all help each other. I feel much more confident as an actor now that I've directed Sensei, and as a dramaturg to actor. And then I just sort of sit in awe of design, humble myself with my lack of knowledge.
All you gotta do is just get in there and do it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I learned a long time ago, especially when it comes to tech.
Mhm.
You just got to get in and do it. I mean, you don't ever learn it without doing it. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, it's a lot in a way, kind of like acting, because you can read a book all day long, but until you get on stage, you don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I love how you said all of those other pieces make you better at this piece. And so I think that's great. That's great. So how did your connection with Co.Arts begin?
Oh, so funny. So Morgan Simone and I, dear friend of mine, were in theater management together our sophomore year at OU, and the pandemic hit, the world crumbled. We were very, very bored, and we were sitting around a fire one night, and he kind of was like, and I know, like, we must have both been thinking it for such a long time because we were sitting in this theater management class together, and like, brave and stupid and young, both of us. And so he was like, do you want to start a theater company? And I was like, yeah. And he looked at me like he was surprised that it didn't take much convincing. But I was saying, obviously that's what we're going to do. I mean, like, what are we doing? And we had a prof. We had a prof called Ashley Brooke Monroe, who told us all these stories about being young and just making the theater that she wanted to make. And she had like a just do it attitude. Like, I'm of a what's the worst that could happen attitude, and like failure is part of it. And so we were very brave and very stupid, and like, handshake deal, we're like, we're gonna do this. And then now it's been 5 years and we're still good.
Very cool. So you were part of the founding vision? Did it evolve organically, or was it one of those things that you had to, keep scraping and putting things together, and that, like you said, failure, and that didn't work, just to do something else?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. And like, I think both it was organic, and also us just grinding for a while and trying to figure it out. I think that being a product of the pandemic, there was like 2 graduating classes that were in Norman kind of trapped. They couldn't go to New York or LA or Chicago. And that's kind of, was what was preached to us as the next step after you graduated. And so it's like, okay, we're all here, and we don't want to stop making theater. And also it's a good it's a good place to make theater, right? It's a great place to make theater. Oklahoma is like, has a low barrier to entry. People genuinely care about each other. They want to help you. They want to see you succeed. And also there was a in 2020, before the pandemic, there was a vacuum of new play development and experimental theater being done here. And I think we saw that, and we're like, okay, well, let's do some weird stuff, which Oklahoma loves weird stuff. Loves weird stuff. So we were like, this will fit in good. And then lots of things changed, like, because that time was so weird. We didn't know how long we'd be sort of, we were doing podcasts, some podcast stuff. We were doing so much stuff on Zoom as well. It was just a funny time. And then when things kind of got back to normal, we were all graduated at that point, and so our relationship to the thing changed in that way as well. Like, some people have come and gone from like the core team, and we've gained some people who are amazing, and some people have like taken their bow out but still support us in lots of meaningful ways. So yeah, I guess organically kind of growing into what we are and continuing to try and find something stable. And yeah, the mission to be an incubation space for producing and developing new works. Just serving that mission and not losing sight of it, even though lots of how we do it and where we do it and what we're doing and who's doing it shifts.
Okay. So how involved are you in the process of the new works, or do you just allow writers to present to you a new work to do?
That's so funny. This is, kind of an answer to your last question. So we've tried slightly different things kind of every season. So we had a model where we accepted submissions for a while, and we would get somewhere between, like, I think maybe the first year we got 10 submissions, and then it got up to like 36 submissions before we were like, okay, this is not necessarily the best model for us. And then this year we're doing a commission model. We commissioned a play, and then the cohort, the devising group, writes a play. And then in previous seasons, we did always a series of staged readings for new works, which are very close to my heart. So many amazing memories and development opportunities for those scripts, because the amount that you have to put in to a stage reading versus the amount that you get out, I think it's a great like return on investment, if that makes sense. And great for playwrights. But this year was the first year that we started the Happening series, which in some ways kind of took the staged reading slot. And that's been an amazing, magical, wonderful adventure, and puts us more into a performance art, experimental theater space instead of a traditional, play format theater space.
Okay. So let's go back a little bit to the conversation that you two had in your class about starting a theater company. What inspired Co.Arts?
Well, we wanted to do new work so bad. I didn't realize that there's this amazing world of new play development until I got to OU, and there's the new play, what was that class called? I guess performing new plays. And Ashley Brooke-Romer, I mentioned earlier, that was her bread and butter in a way, was workshopping new plays, and Sobel's learning in dramaturgy. It's like, oh, okay, this is kind of all like coalescing and making sense. So it was really an interest in new play development. Also, like Tracy Letts, Lynn Riggs, there's a couple of great playwrights that have come out of Oklahoma. And one of the unique benefits of doing theater that film cannot accomplish is geographic specificity, right? When you have a playwright that's in Oklahoma writing a play for Oklahomans, that magic, that geographic specificity and knowledge of people in place, and just an understanding of each other that doing a show that has gone from Broadway or watching a show on Netflix can't really give you. It's like, okay, what is the thing that kind of people are missing in their diet of media that Co.Arts can offer? Is like new play development. That's not like happening in Oklahoma as much as we'd like to see. There are some opportunities for it, but we really wanted that to be our main focus. And then how can we get these geniuses, and the opportunity to have their words spoken? You know what I mean? And like, I don't want Tracy Letts and Linda Riggs to be the only Oklahoma playwrights that I could think of. And also, I don't want every play that I see produced here to be something that comes from outside in. You know what I mean? Let's start having plays that go inside out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Co.Arts describes itself, as we've said a couple of times here, as an incubation space for artists to produce original work. So what does that look like in practice?
Oh my gosh, different every time. Because the artist changes and then what they're working on changes. I think the Happenings are a good example of scrappy, fast, experimental theater. Because it's one night only. We have a month leading up to it where the creative team is working with you. That, before that you pitch your idea, or we talk about different alternatives or if you want inspiration or whatever, but generally people, have something in their head. They're like, okay, what I'm percolating on, like, listen to this. And then Cassie Pierce, one of the other co-artistic directors, are, in another life, maybe we're visual art majors, because we love performance art so much. But, we don't claim to be experts. We're hobbyists, research hobbyists. So we try to help out. And then that vision gets brought to life, like lickety split for basically no money. And it's weird every time and lovely, strange, and intimate. Those happenings are really intimate because they're interactive. And there's usually, a group of 15 to 40 people who are playing, and the artist that creates it acts as both host of the event in terms of understanding it as a party-like atmosphere, and then also the curator of the performance art experience. So that's one example of sort of what it means to us to incubate a new work. And then the more traditional new play development work that we do is usually a 6 to 9 month process with a dramaturg and a director, where you're meeting once, twice, 3 times, 4 times a month, working through the play. Then we try to have a slightly elongated rehearsal process where you work on the play more with actors hearing it out loud. The script gets locked. People in a week 2 of rehearsal, and then go. Maybe they're like a normal play. Go. They get it up on its feet, and it's messy, and it's like there's so many variables. It's crazy, and it's kind of stressful always, and there's always a different problem every time. But yeah, that dramaturg and that director, they're steering the ship. And I find myself I have found myself often in the dramaturg role or the director role. And then for cohort, which is the devising group, this year's my 3rd year writing.
So you write also?
Sometimes. I got that writing minor, and I'm like, I wish I put it to use more. I like the cohort, writing in the cohort, because I'm not alone, but writing by myself is...
It's tough, yeah.
Tough.
It's
Yeah.
tough. So in that process of going from the classroom where you talked about, hey, let's do this, to now, when was there ever, what was the moment that you knew this company was something special?
Oh gosh. I mean, it's so funny. Men on the Line was the first show that we did, and that's a show that I desperately, voracious. I just wanted to know everything about it. Performance art piece by Andrea Fraser that I saw at a museum when I was 15, I think. And I spent the next, 5 years of my life trying to learn everything about it. And then we did that. That was our first show. And yeah, something like my inner child, I don't know, something that was like, it meant so much to me. And then it wasn't so hard. It was like magic, and at least in my memory, maybe it was hard at the time, but I remember feeling such a warm welcome from, my friends and family in Norman, and that for me maybe was the moment when I was sold. Maybe it was the moment Morgan asked, "Do you want to start a theater company?" I don't know.
Or maybe you already had it in your head. You just needed someone to pull it out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's perfectly fair. So how do you define success at Co.Arts? Like, what does a win look like for you guys?
Oh gosh. Happy playwright means a lot to me. Happy playwright means I like a happy playwright. Playwright's happy, a lot of things go good. They're just confident. It's like the process was artistically fulfilling. Like their play is more full, more complete, that they understand it better, that they understand how other people understand it better. that's success. Same thing with the happenings. I want that artist to be happy. I want that artist to be happy with the process, even if necessarily like that they didn't like the show or they didn't like their happening or they were critical of it in some way. That's actually not the most important thing. I kind of think that the growth, the incubation idea of like you started somewhere and then you can see, you know, you're not a baby chick anymore, you're hatched, whatever, or the thing that you're trying to make is hatched. That's such a weird metaphor, but we say incubation space all the time.
Right.
So, yeah.
There's always something about, watching your child when they take their first steps, to the time they ride their first bicycle, to the time they drive their first car, that when they graduate and move on. So there is a growth period. And I think there's a growth cycle with everything that we do. And so exactly what I get exactly what you're saying, seeing that birth process, if you will.
Yeah.
And there are, just like with any other process, there's growing pains, there's, all that kind of stuff. So you were talking about the happenings, which was something you said was new for this year. Is that correct? Yes. It was a 6-part series of interactive performance art. So what inspired that format?
Oh gosh. Yeah, probably Cassie and me being crazy people, I think. Like
there's a lot that keeps coming back to that. So
yeah, it's a theme. It's a theme. Cassie and me being like, wouldn't it be insane? Yeah, I think that probably is. Cassie and I love performance art. We're like, there's no venue for it in Oklahoma in a way, like, happenings were happening in the 70s and our genome. So we're like, we can do that. We can totally do that. You know what, too? Cassie and I were supposed to go to Marfa. And we were like, okay, let's look it up. Let's see when some weird performance art is happening in Marfa. And let's just plan our trip around that. And then we looked it up. It wasn't anything. I was like, there's no weird performance art happening in Marfa. Like the weirdest, most like artist colony town in the South. Like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, well, if they're not, if nobody's doing it, we just have to do it. So we're doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that answer the question?
Sure. I mean, like I said, it's gotta be there somewhere. You gotta have inspiration somewhere. You found it.
Yeah.
It wasn't there. So we just made it, And, I think that's kind of the mindset of a lot of inventors. They come up with an idea and they look around and go, well, nobody's done this, so let's just make it. And that's how it works. So
I think also we were like, this idea of like the geographic whatever thing that I was saying earlier about like what is something that theater can do that other forms of media can't do, and it's like what is this thing that the film can't do and the film can't do, and then what are we missing? It's like the kind of deep connection that I'm seeing happening at some of these. It's like that's really it. Like that was the thing that we were seeking out, and that's why we were like, okay, we need to find like the space between party and art, because the first one we did was a dinner party. Like 40 people are on a huge table and we serve 10 courses of inedible things. Well, some of them are edible, but the point isn't that you're eating. We said, eat before you come. This dinner party will feed your soul, not your stomach. Right? So we have hardly any lines. We're doing this. It's really mostly dinner service that we're functionally creating at this happening, and it leaves an insane amount of space for these 40 people to be purposely sat. Everybody be like a restaurant sort of took everybody's name and like reservations and made name placards, and it was like nobody who knows each other can sit next to each other. So we set everybody up at the table so that but we know all of them, sort of, or maybe we don't know some of them, but we know kind of how old they are, maybe, or can look them up on Instagram, like, okay, this person needs to be next to this person, and this person's really chatty, and they'll make this person comfortable, okay? And, like, trying to curate a social experience so that people can get to know each other, like that, I'm like, that is missing from, our lives right now.
Sure.
So, I don't know. That was, like, a huge part of it, where it's just, like, how can we bring people together to have meaningful, weird, formative memories and actually get to know each other.
Yeah, I like. So it was a lot of improv.
Oh gosh, well, On Cassie and I's part, no.
Well, so you guys were prepared, but the people that were coming weren't.
Exactly. Yeah, it is kind of, no, you're exactly right. It's like, yeah, when people come to the happenings, you're basically asking them to improv in a way, but we don't want them to put too much, either don't put any pressure on yourself, just be yourself. But yeah, in the same minute, life, like existing in life is like improv. Going to a happening is like being on the like a weird improv show.
That's actually kind of cool. I kind of like that idea. It takes me back to when I was in high school. Several theater friends and we used to do host your own dinner murder mysteries.
Yeah.
Host your own murder. How to host a murder, I think is what it was called. And so they would send out invitations to people, and this is the character you'll be playing, but you have no idea who anybody else is playing or anything else, and you just show up, and then you have to go through this whole little murder mystery there. And so, that was really cool. So I like that idea. So how do you balance absurdist, data-inspired work with accessibility for audiences who may be new to this whole experimental theater thing?
You know, we try to take really good care of them, because when people who don't know really, like, I think the dinner party is a good example of this, right? Like, we have a lot of theater people coming, some maybe not theater people coming, and it's like, oh, that's Noah's mom. Like, we got to make sure that Noah's mom has a good time, and she doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know a single soul here. Like I was saying, like, about like choosing where people are sitting. I'm like, okay, this person doesn't know anybody here, so I need to make sure that they're sitting next to somebody really bubbly and sweet who's kind of gonna hold their hand. And I'm not gonna tell anybody to do that, but I'm just gonna try and set them up for success. So yeah, when those things happen, where there's a new name, or there are ways that we can, and whoever's hosting the happening. The most recent happening was Ash Mandanis, and it was a very consent-driven interaction model. So no one was asked to do anything in a way that pressured them, and it was about mirroring emotion, and then it ended with a somatic line dance, which is like beautiful and funny and strange, and a release of emotion, I think, for people. And I asked my friend who maybe isn't super performance arty that I knew went, and he was like, no, it was like my favorite one yet. That one, unlike maybe dinner party where we're like feeding people crickets, because sometimes the happenings are challenging in that way, and purposefully making people uncomfortable. The dinner party, the cricket thing, I think, is a good example of that anyway. So like, but it wasn't solely to do that, but the one course, was really supposed to like say, like, let me push you here a little bit, but also, very upfront. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to, like, you can interact with this however you want to do. You really should not do anything that you don't want to do. And Ash hosting that, and the way that they, explained and explored, informed consent in the context of that piece, I think helps people feel safe.
Did you make them sign waivers before they showed up?
I have before for a different thing, but
which, I mean, don't get me wrong, if I were going to a theater and they made me sign a waiver, I think I would question my, intention of going. But yeah, I get it. So I get it a lot. So, so what's been the most surprising audience reaction to happening so far?
I wonder, maybe audience reaction. We had a happening that was about an hour and a half of creating a mask, and then at the end of it, you threw a water balloon filled with like black paint and water at the masks, and yeah, I think that people found a lot of joy in that. They were so surprised by how like mischievous and exciting it feels to like throw a water balloon filled with paint in an art gallery at a wall, and it just explode everywhere. Maybe, but it's also not surprising, like sort of hoping that would do a reaction, but yeah, that sort of the giddy sort of, childlike wonder and mischief and yeah, everybody, big group of people throwing like king water balloons. And then it's all done and like they just like sort of started clapping. When that kind of thing happens and it's like it was actually kind of awe-inspiring, like this moment of release and like everybody's spraying their water balloons and then you're just watching the things that they just spent an hour and a half create like kind of crumble and fall apart and they just start clapping and you're like, oh my gosh, they got it.
Yeah.
Oh, they liked it. They feel something. Like that was
truly an example that art is different to everybody.
Yes.
And it speaks differently to everybody. And so, one person can go to an art gallery and it just check out and be like, okay, whatever, it's junk. Sure. The next person can come and go, oh my God, and so it just, it's all in the how it speaks. So, okay. So going back to you a little bit, you've directed pieces. We talked about Men on the Line and then How to Smoke 3 Cigarettes at Once, which is, I understand, the show that you're taking to Kansas. Is that correct?
I'm actually not directing it. Morgan and Keely are directing.
Okay.
I directed Abitanir, our show last year at Friend, but How to Smoke is Morgan and Katie's baby.
Okay. So the ones that you direct, these obviously are not ones that you have written. Is that correct?
Sometimes, yeah. Abitanir, I was a co-writer on, but Men on the Line. I mean, sort of. So the Men on the Line is based off of a 1967 KPFK radio broadcast.
Right.
So it's sort of verbatim theater. And then Andrew Fraser's monologue of it is an edited version of the original broadcast. And I kind of amalgamated the first original broadcast with Fraser's piece and then took it out of the realm of monologue and embodied physically the four men that are speaking with actors. So, I mean, in some ways I feel like I adapted it, but in other ways I'm sort of like it's a verbatim piece, so maybe not. And then also sometimes when I do shows at Co.Arts, there kind of isn't a director. I'm like, because I'm like thinking back to public comment, like I didn't direct that show, but I'm like, I don't know who did. And so like we all kind of did, and we all kind of wrote that. And that was another verbatim piece. So again, it's like, did we write it? And we sort of just curated other people's.
Well, it's all collaboration anyway, right?
Sure. Yeah. It's
so
collaboration.
So okay, that's fair. So what kind of draws you to some of these stories? I mean, is there something? Do you just have to have something speak to you, or are you looking for something, or what is it?
I'm gonna bring up public comment, which I think that's the show that Co.Arts has done that is the most on the nose, like fully 100%, like knocks it out of the park, home run. I'm like, that is us, because it's a verbatim theater piece about Norman from June 2020 to June 2021. We interviewed like Bria Clark, the person behind Okie Troll, at Okie Troll, if you know that meme account. We interviewed a bunch of folks who've lived in Norman their whole life. Interviewed some frat guys in line for Logies on Campus Corner during like the heat of lockdown. We talked to a lot of people, all sorts of people, and went to town halls. And that's why it's called public comment. This is the public comment section at town halls. And we wrote a version of it 6 months in, to June 2020 to June 2021. We wrote a version of it that was 6 months. And then we wrote another version of it that really got that full year. And, everything that was going on. Black Lives Matter protests, Unite Norman, the pandemic, OU, like, the world was on fire. And what did we say? The lot line was an ode to a college town in philosophical crisis. Like, why did we want to write that show? It's like, because that's all anybody was thinking and talking about in Norman at the time. So
around the world at the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. That's really good. So so what is I lost my question. What is your process for collaboration at Co.Arts? How do you bring in like established actors around, or do you try to bring in like new budding actors or emerging voices, if you will? What does that collaboration process look like?
We were 20 when we started this company, and we were in our little OU community, and we were like, the best actor I know is the senior at OU. You know what I mean? So we were like, at the beginning, he was like our little friends and like everybody we know, and then it's like, okay, year 2, we're like, okay, we're juniors or seniors in college now, whatever. And we're like, okay, we'll focus on emerging voices. We want to bring together these 3 amazing collegiate programs in Oklahoma. We want like the OU students and alumni, and the OC students and alumni, and the UCO students and alumni to be able to network and professionally develop and work on stuff together, and actually get to know each other and build those connections. And then now, year 3, 4, 5, we're like, we're not in college anymore, and we can kind of take a step back and understand the Oklahoma theater community and that ecosystem as a whole, and where we fit into it, and actually start to make connections with everybody. And we still obviously care so much about those college programs and those students, and like supporting them, and like emerging voices, those folks. We're absolutely not, leaving them behind in any way, but we're just saying, okay, like, let's widen our circle and say hello to everybody.
Okay. So I guess we kind of skipped over this, glossed over it, whatever. So Co.Arts basically started as, what was it? Collective Arts? Was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why the shortening of it?
Well, it's funny you ask. I think we used to be called Collective Arts Productions, and that's when we were doing podcasts and theater and all sorts of stuff, and we were like loosey. And then this year we were like, let's put our foot down, Collective Arts Theater Company, but we'll go by Co.Arts, because we've always kind of gone by Co.Arts. So that's that question, or that answer, I guess, because we kind of have a bunch of different names and nicknames. So it's like Co.Arts Theater Co, Collective Arts Theater Company, and Co.Arts are all kind of. And then the only thing that we really got rid of was the productions. We're done with that.
So did you register all those names?
It's so annoying. It's so annoying.
I understand. That process stakes. I've had run-ins with that myself. So
Gosh, yeah. Getting our 501c3. Why didn't I get a business degree? Why didn't I get a law degree? Like, those are the things that are missing.
help.
It doesn't help.
I have an MBA and it doesn't help.
It's like what you said about design. You just have to do it.
Yep.
You just have to do it. Throw yourself.
And it's always good to find somebody that has been there and done that.
Yeah.
They always say, well, make sure you have an attorney. Well, the attorneys, they know the law. They don't necessarily know the practice or the process of it. So it's always good to have somebody that has started their own 501c3 or whatever. So go through that process. So kudos to you for registering all of those names. Sure. There is the question there: how do you decide which projects make it into the season? I think we kind of hit on that a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
And for those of you listening at home, Co.Arts is CO.Arts. So it's Co.Arts. So when you're trying to search for them, make sure you put the dot in there. You won't find them. You probably will, but. So Co.Arts is based in Norman, but your work has reached to Kansas City, Fringe, and beyond. How do you see your role in Oklahoma's broader theater ecosystem? You kind of talked about embracing the community theater environment. So how have you guys connected with outside theater groups and other actors?
Theater Crew Fringe Festival, off the bat, like, that was our welcome into the OKC theater community, because we had, connections in Norman, and we didn't really know how to produce in OKC. So Jenny and Adam at Theater Crew Fringe, and then we were like, oh, this whole world of Fringe festivals, and sometimes people come in from out of town to go to Theater Crew, and Rodney Brazil has done a bunch of fringe tours, and Morgan's Steamboat has always been a goal of his. And, there's a Great Thanks Theater Commons is a conference that happens in Omaha every year that is a new play development conference. Great plays have come out of it. Sarah DeLap's Wolves came out of it. I think Heidi Schruck was there this year. A lot of great playwrights, young playwrights, old playwrights, new emerging voices come out of that conference. Great plays come out of that conference. And there's just the Midwestern world of new play development. Like, I think that those fringe festivals are really at the heart of that. So it's like Theater Crude. We're going to Kansas City Fringe this year. We're going to Omaha Fringe this year. There's a couple of those like bright beaming lights of new play development that are happening in these parts. And like, let's all be friends.
Awesome. I love to see the theater community working together. It's kind of one of the reasons why I'm doing this right here.
Yes. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
Because it's so meaningful. This work is so meaningful. I've been, wrestling myself about the way that the media and like the what am I saying? The way that journalism and theater interact, because in Oklahoma, or at least for us, I met with somebody who tried to tell me what to do to be noticed by the media in a meaningful way, and they want stories that are absurd and strange and clickbaity, and that's what gets their like motor running, keeps the lights on. And I got to do so much research for a play in like the old newspaper archives of the Oklahoman and the OU Daily, and every time there was a play, they were writing it out because they care about Oklahoma and they care about the arts of Oklahoma. And like the fact that we've raised the bar so high or maybe so low that you have to be doing something clickbaity to be noticed is ridiculous. And what you're doing is, journalism that says this is valuable. They don't need to do anything else except for what they're doing. What they're doing is valuable enough and worth listening to. And it's true. It is true of all the theater companies. And so thank you for shining light on it.
There's, and I've said this almost every show that we do, is that there is so much talent in this state. I had no idea we had as many theaters as we do until I started this show.
Yeah.
The first week, I had over 50 theaters signed up to be a part of this. I'm now over 100.
Yeah.
And it's like, where are I not, like, from towns that some of them I have not heard of, and I've lived in Oklahoma live.
Right.
And I'm like, how do y'all have a theater? And unfortunately for so many people in the theater world, if you're not in Oklahoma City or you're not in Tulsa, people don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And so even if it's, Moore, Norman, Edmond, you're outside of the city metro, you're out of the arts district, people will pay attention. And so I kind of said, their stories need to be told too.
Yeah.
And so that's my job, is to tell stories. So, and I've said this numerous times, even when I started directing, I said, as actors, playwrights, whatever, our job is to tell stories. It's the oldest, you can say what you want about prostitution, but it's the oldest profession in the world. That's how our language started, was through storytelling, was through acting. Yeah. And, if we don't keep that alive, we are going to go by the way of AI and all the other stuff, because this is one medium that AI can't touch. Mm-hmm. They can mess with AI on movies and, TV and all this other stuff, but they can't touch live theatrical performances.
Nope.
They just can't. So thank you. So, okay. You have said that performance can be a site for community organizing and collective prosperity. Can you unpack that idea for us?
community organizing to me is about direct action. So what can I do without having to, get permission necessarily to improve my life and the lives of the people around me? To me, that might mean, volunteering for Sisu and making food for the unhoused teens in OKC, or we're working on Greenland right now, and that show touches on some themes of societal collapse. And so, we're getting folks together to volunteer in Norman to do some native planting and litter pickup. And that kind of direct action on a local level is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about community organizing. So that's that part. And then collective liberation. I think that, to me, we're so hurt, maybe, and not very free because of the ways that having and not having impact our lives, the ways that technology maybe is starting to really negatively impact at least my life. And that, liberation for me, at least for me individually, let's say, means, having actually control of my time and my attention and using it in a way that, I can sleep at night and know that, when I pass on, I'll say with absolute certainty that I did more good than bad. Yeah, that is liberation. Self actualization and the impact, a positive impact. That's really what I mean, I think.
That's very good. And that brings kind of good transition into the next question. What does it mean to you to create theater in Oklahoma right now, whether it be politically, culturally, artistically?
Gosh, it's hard. There's not a lot of money going around. The NEA funding, so many grants that we apply for, drying up. And you're like, I'm sure we need this. I'm sure we need to go to the theater. And you're looking around and you're like, you think I should stop? Maybe something news, maybe something, maybe, I don't know, like maybe the problems are too big for theater to fix. But then, like you said, it's like, I don't think I can help it. I think I do need to do theater because, like, even if it's not gonna fix everything, like ASH is happening, like those 15 people in a room for 3 hours having a meaningful experience, and like, I don't know, and also just trying to be like, hello, we're here for all the artists who want to make new stuff and have great ideas. Like, come tell us your ideas. Like, have, faith and hope in, like, a future that includes you and your voice. Like, I don't know. I guess that's what gives me meaning, even though I'm like, gosh, I don't know that, like, I talk about direct action, like, I don't know that I'm doing enough to make things tangibly better sometimes. And I sometimes find theater inadequate, but so necessary maybe to keeping me alive and well.
Theater is therapy. Thank you very much. And so, please, no matter what, don't let those voices that say you're not making an impact ever win, because I think everybody that is doing theater is impacting someone. It's the same thing that I say to people all over the place, that, at any given point, on any given day, someone is looking to you, someone is looking up to you. And so what people don't realize is everybody, to a degree, is a leader at some point. And so that's why I encourage, people, somebody's watching, no matter what you're doing, at some point, like I said, somebody's watching to see how you're going to handle things. And so keep that in mind. When you have those moments, draw back on those times when you see that, as you said, when you see that successful thing go off and the bells and everything are going off. This is it. Yeah. Hold on to those times that, hey, this did make a difference. This did touch someone. Yeah. Obviously, or they wouldn't have clapped when you were done.
It's true.
Yeah. Because trust me, I've seen that too. People just get up and walk out. They're like, well, guess they weren't having a good time. So okay. So how do you ensure Co.Arts remains a space for inclusion, experimentation, and joy?
Oh gosh. I think we really try to have a summer camp mentality for all of our production processes. Like, we're trying to maintain the vibe of summer camp, and it's really hard sometimes that the stakes feel so high and you really want to do a good job, and it hurts when you feel like you're doing a bad job and you're like, oh gosh, like, I'm starting to get stressed. It's making me, less fun and nice and happy. And we're like trying to create an environment where people can take some of that pressure off of themselves so that they can, first of all, be their best self in the room. And also, like, when you're judging yourself all the time and like mad at yourself, it's much harder to create and like freely create. So it actually doesn't do much. But there's a time for criticism, and we allow that as well. Like, without critical thinking really is what I mean by criticism, that you can't analyze what's going on. But yeah, it's summer camp. We're gonna have fun. Like, I swear to God, it's gonna be so much fun.
We're gonna have fun, or I'm gonna beat it out of you.
No, but I really like at the end of every eval, I'm like, summer camp, let's go. Like, I'm trying to be a hype man.
I can feel that, yeah. Okay, so as we start to tailor down our interview, I have a thing that I like to do. We kind of, on our last few questions, we kind of got a little dark and a little somber for a moment. So we always aim at a little bit of fun.
Sure.
And I always put together some curveball questions. Okay. And my team here, I'll call them curtain call. And so, again, they're just fun, off the wall questions. Answer the first thing that pops into your head. That's usually the way it's most fun.
Okay, got it.
It's fair. Okay. If Co.Arts were a cocktail, what would it be? What would be in it? And what's it served in?
Oh gosh. Where would be such a better answer than me? I'm gonna say a michelada with gummy worms and weirdness in a styrofoam cup. Bad for the environment, but authentic.
And it's easy to come by. I love it. Okay, so you're directing a show. This one is just kind of really stupid. I don't know why they came up with this, but you're directing a show, but your entire cast has been replaced by houseplants. What's the title and who's the lead?
Oh, the title is audience plant. Because you know how you can like plant somebody in the audience, they're called an audience plant. And then the lead is like a stage covered plant, and the lead is the one plant that's in the audience. Because it's the audience plant.
Okay. Hey, that is actually logic to it. That's not supposed to happen here. Okay. All right. So what's the weirdest or most wonderful thing that's happened during a Co.Arts rehearsal?
Oh, we did a show called Scripted, which had so much like magic, little silliness in it. And there was a moment where somebody had to smash a Rubik's Cube. And we were like trying to figure out how the Rubik's Cube would like explode, because we didn't want like Rubik's Cube pieces to like hit anybody in the audience. Like, it's fine if, the actors can like know what's coming, so they can like, and also like anyway, the Rubik's Cube freaking exploded, and it was like, and then everyone was completely silent. That's my, yeah.
Oh. Okay, that's one I hadn't heard before, but I like it. So if you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, on a Co.Arts production, who would it be and why?
Young Ji Lee, please write a play and then come do it in Oklahoma. Please.
Okay.
All right, why? Because
Why?
she was the best,
Well,
like
yeah.
the best playwright. So experimental, so cool, so great, doing crazy work. Love her.
And, I think as I'm listening to you talk about this, and you're talking about, emerging voices and things like this, what people have to understand is every famous playwright had to have an incubator like this, or at least something similar. They had to have a place where they could experiment, where they could come up with ideas, where they could do the spaghetti test of just throwing things on the wall and see what sticks.
Yes.
And so I very much applaud you guys for this. So, what's one thing your audience would be surprised to learn about you?
Oh God, I'm terrified all the time. Like I'm a deeply anxious person. Well, I guess most of my friends know about me, but maybe I think sometimes people who don't know me personally, like maybe come off as like intimidating or like maybe a know-it-all, but I'm really like very self-critical, and I think that's where most of that energy is coming from.
Thank you for being open about that. And finally, you kind of touched on this for just a minute ago. What's next for Co.Arts? You have a show that you guys are working on, is that right?
Yes, it's the most amazing show. It's about a real true story from it's like the Roanoke. This it's kind of like that. So there was a colony in Greenland. Eric Duret settles Greenland in like the 900s, right? And there's this colony in Greenland that just disappeared, and there's like no dead bodies, and they're like, what happened? And the last 3 things that were written down about it was that in the last year there was a witch burned at the stake, a woman committed suicide because her husband accused her of adultery, and there was a wedding. I'm like, and everybody died. You know that, I guess, too. Don't know how, but we know that they all died. And the show's about Greenland, 1406. Very grim. It's a ghost story. It's fun. It's scary. Chis Hebel's a mad genius. He wrote it. Laura Lindsay's directing it. I'm so excited.
Actually, I have a friend that's in the show, so.
Oh my gosh, who, David?
Yes.
Of course, in Fletcher Hall.
Yes.
Oh, I love that man.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to get him on the show, and he's like, "Well, I can't right now because I'm in." And I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll circle back around too."
I took him first.
Yeah, yeah. He came to me on Facebook, and he said, "Do you have room for what?" He said, "Do you have a room for an old British chap?" And I was like, "Dude, I will clear a space for you." You're talking about.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, so that's all the questions that I have as we start, again, wrapping this up. Let's kind of just do some wrap up stuff here. So Co.Arts Theater, if someone wants to work with you guys, how do they get in touch with you?
Email us, info@coarts.co. Email us. Yeah.
Okay. If someone wants to audition for a show, how do they do that?
Follow us on Instagram. It's the place that we're the most quick, let's say, with like telling people when stuff like that is open. But yeah, we do virtual auditions, I guess, a lot of Zoom callbacks, edited tape type stuff, and yeah, so those will open up next season around March. Yeah.
Cool. And I guess last one, when you guys have a show, how do people get tickets?
Co.Arts.co/tickets. Easy peasy. You don't even have to do nothing. Easy to type, or you can go to like literally any Co.Arts page anywhere, and it'll of course be like flashing lights like get tickets now, get tickets now. They would like you to get tickets so bad.
Awesome. Hey, Alleese, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You've been a lot of fun. You've been very open and honest, and I appreciate all that you guys are doing for opening up the groundworks for emerging voices and new playwrights and all of that. So thank you for helping out the Oklahoma theater scene very much. For everybody else listening at home, thank you for tuning in and giving us just a little bit of your time. Please, by all means, no matter what you do, continue to support the arts.
Oklahoma on stage.